and I realized that I had love for something else as well that was developing in a really natural way.
Now, I think you may have spoken about this before, but I just want to get my timelines completely right, just because I get fascinated by timelines. So you obviously, in around 2012, there was the opportunity for you to compete in the Summer Olympics, which is, as a statement, is just an amazing thing to say out loud. I'm right, aren't I?
You are correct, yeah.
So this was swimming. You are on top of everything else, an incredible swimmer.
On top of everything else, there's not much, Alex.
Yeah,
I'm sporty and artistic.
A vegan company, acting, and you could have been in the Olympics. It's pretty good going.
You're very kind, thank you.
So seriously, so are you a good swimmer? Because I climbed out of the pool during my 25-meter swimming exam because I thought there was a shark in it. So that's where I got to with my swimming.
Yeah, I can hold a stroke.
So what were you going to actually compete in? What was the is it a discipline? Do you call it a discipline? I don't know that much about sport in general, let alone swimming. Let's go with discipline.
Okay. Yeah, it was a lot. It was 5 hours a day every day. It was before school, after school. I think it was something like 40, just under 40 hours a week or something. And my stroke was fly, like butterfly, the one that's
yeah, the ridiculous one. That is, yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. I think I loved it because no one else could really do it. So it made me feel better than I was. Because honestly, but yeah, I loved it because it was a commitment. I had good friends there. It was, structure. I love being in water, but it got to a point where the stress of being, the cusp of being a teenager, the stress of that and the galas every weekend, the competing, it just, I took it very seriously, and I am very competitive as a person. I always have been. And I almost became like, I guess, punishing myself when I wasn't living up to my expectations. So my mental health, I had to step back. And yeah, and acting was becoming a lot more prominent in my life. And I realized that I had love for something else as well that was developing in a really natural way.
Was it a tough decision though? I mean, because on paper, was it Hollyoaks or Olympics? Because that's no, okay. It was just generally acting or swimming.
You know what? It was never even. I think I'd say lots. Like it was a choice between A or B. It really wasn't. The swimming had come just before. That decision had come just before, but it was. I still say to this day, apart from leaving home, when I left home, that is probably one of the hardest decisions I've ever made, because it's such a thing where it's so time sensitive. It's like you've put in, I don't know, let's just say 10,000 hours. And it's like, if you take a day off swimming, it takes a week to catch up. If you take a week off, it takes a month to catch up. Like it really does.
Wow.
And I was falling out of love with it, but I wasn't, but I kind of was. I was falling out of love with the competitive and the stress of the Olympics. And I kind of like took a few sessions off, and I just remember like the reality of it sinking in, of it being more and more time lost. Like I only had a small window of time where I would be able to really pull it back and still make the games. And there's a lot. It's not just you as a swimmer, it's your coach, it's your team. Like there's a lot of people involved in that from a really early age, and you don't want to let anyone down. But yeah, it was a really hard decision. I think because it was so time sensitive. Yeah, I still think about it sometimes.
I was going to say, you did look a little bit sort of wistful then, is it? Like, no, because there is that thing of big decisions, isn't there, where you sometimes, regret isn't ever the right word, because I think that's quite a negative way of looking at it. But there were points in your life where you have been forced to make a big decision where sometimes you do look back and go, was it the right decision to make?
Yeah, definitely.
I'm sure.
I still don't know to this day.
You don't. You're not. I'm sure. Well, yeah. I think. Did you watch the Olympics? Did you actually watch it after?
Yeah,
did you watch?
I still went.
And did you watch the race you would have competed in?
I didn't watch the race I would have competed in person. I couldn't do that, but I did watch it. Yeah, but I was there in person for the rest of the swimming.
Okay.
Yeah, my friends were like, it was amazing to see them, you know.
And just because this is what I do, because I'm a bit weird. Like, did you look at the time that the winner in your event got, and would you have beaten them?
I didn't do that. It's the thing is, when you get down to that point, you're talking of fractions of a second.
Right.
So it's very hard to say. But my fastest time I had done, because I quit a year before the Olympics, like,
right.
You know, but my fastest time was faster than the slowest person in the race. So at a year before. So it's not to say I would have won, but I definitely wouldn't have lost.
Cool. Oh, that's a good, that's a cool legacy. That's a cool legacy to have. So, hello, Alex here. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to get in touch with us at all, for any reason, you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at JTFpod. And don't forget to subscribe to the full audio podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your pods.